What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Toby Massenberg, aka Coach T, and I will be guiding you through your 15-minute lower body strength workout with our functional trainer. Now, in today's workout, you will only need to have a clear area as well as your rope attachment in today's workout. So we're going to try to keep it simple, but it will be tough. Now, ideally, you want to try to find each one of these repetitions somewhere between 10 to 12 reps. So you may need to adjust weight either higher or lower just to make sure that you're inside that window. I.e., if you are able to do more than 12, you probably want to take some of the weight up. But if you're unable to get at least 10 repetitions, maybe you want to think about dropping that weight, all right? That being said, we have a lot to do and a small amount of time to get it done. So let's jump right into our warm-up. We're going to start in our half kneeling position. One foot is going to be down and one foot's going to be forward. So the knees should be straight down towards the floor and hands on top of the hips. Shoulders are going to be located over top of the hips, and from here, all I need you to do is begin to shift forward, feeling the stretch in front of the hip, also known as your hip flexor, and then you're going to start to shift it back. Let's continue that, shifting it forward and shifting it back. Now, ideally, you want to try to follow your breathing here. So I would say exhale as you begin to shift forward, inhale as you begin to shift back. With every single repetition, you should begin to feel the hip flexor begin to open up, just with a little bit more range of motion. Let's do one more right here. Well done. Let's do the exact same thing onto the other side, switching the lead leg, hands on top of the hips, and we begin to shift it forward and begin to shift back. Now, one thing you do want to remember here is that you want to try to keep your shoulders so they're always located over top of the hips. That way we can avoid any overflexion or overextension. You want to try to find somewhere in between. As you begin to shift forward, if you notice that the front heel begins to lift, all you need to do is by simply stepping the foot a little further forward to make sure that the heel stays grounded into the floor. And let's go and recover there. Place both hands down to the floor. And I want you to walk both feet back, coming to a high push-up plank position. Walk the feet so they come about shoulder distance, lifting the tail up high to the ceiling, and I want you to press your heart closer towards your thighs, releasing the head. From here, you should automatically feel a powerful stretch that happens behind the legs, getting your hamstrings involved. Heels are lowering down towards the floor, also opening up those hamstrings. From here, alternate between right side and left side, drawing the heels down towards the floor. We're opening up range of motion not just at the calf level, but also at the ankle level. Oftentimes when we have limited mobility within our ankle and or our calves, that can transfer into knee pain. So we want to try to get as much range of motion as we possibly can to help avoid any injury down the road. Let's go for one more on each leg. Drive both heels down towards the floor. Slowly begin to tiptoe your feet closer towards your hands. Try to avoid softening the knees as much as possible. Walk your feet wide so they come once again about shoulder distance. Turn the toes slightly out, with the palms still reaching down towards the floor and the head releasing. You're gonna bend the knee, drop the tail, but lift the shoulders a little higher. So try to get deep into those hips. Now, if you don't quite have as much range of motion as myself, meaning that you're a little bit high here, that's all good. Only go as far as your body will allow for today. Straighten out the legs, press the heart closer towards the thighs. Once again, feeling a deep stretch deep behind the hamstrings. Softening the knees, dropping the tail, trying to get as low as you possibly can. Once again, let's follow our breathing here. Exhale, straighten out the legs as much as possible, pressing the heart closer towards the thighs. Turning the toes slightly out, inhaling, dropping down into those hip bone pockets. Final time, straightening out the legs as much as possible. Once again, deep stretch behind the legs. Soften the knees slightly. Slowly start to roll all the way back up to your stand position. We're going to take these into hip openers. Let's alternate between right and left. Drawing the knee in and then rotating it out. As we come to the end of this warm-up, let's talk a little bit about today's workout. We're going to see two different blocks of work. In block number one, you're going to see 3 exercises. And in block 2, you're going to see only 2 exercises. As I said at the top of today's class, you're looking to ideally land somewhere between 10 to 12 repetitions with each one of these exercises. Let's jump into block number 1. Block number 1, we have our 3 exercises. Here comes exercise number 1. Holding on to the rope, we're gonna drive the rope so it comes close to the heart. So we're dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Walk your feet so they're about shoulder distance and toes facing forward towards the anchor point. From here, elbows are nice and tight. You're gonna bend your knees, sit down into your back pockets, drawing the elbows close towards the thighs, then standing right back up to that start position. That's called your rope front squat. Second exercise, arms are gonna be nice and long. You're gonna take a giant step away from the anchor point, soften the knees slightly, begin to hinge at the hips, finding length within the spine, and you're gonna feel a big stretch behind the legs here. From here, you come back to the start position, which is called your deadlifts. From here, you're simply going to stagger 1 foot forward, 1 foot back into our final exercise, which is your split lunge. You're simply gonna drop the knee down towards the floor, then lifting up nice and tall. All right, so those are all 3 exercises. Without further delay, let's jump into round number 1. Again, we're looking for somewhere between 10 to 12 repetitions, and it should feel like a bit of a struggle as you come into those 10 to 12. All right, grabbing onto the rope underneath the chin. Front squats are up first. Let's go in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Softening the knees, sitting back into our back pockets, lifting up nice and tall. Making sure to keep the shoulders nice and square towards the front. Belly button in towards your spine. Squeezing the glutes on the way up. Pressing those hips back on the way down. As you come into these squats, I want you to try to focus on making sure that you keep an even amount of pressure throughout your entire foot. Oftentimes, you may hear coaches say, put your weight into your heels, but you don't necessarily need to do that. What you do want is to make sure that you have even distribution between the top of the toe as well to the 2 edges of your heel. So pretty much all the way through the whole foot plate. Last one here. Sitting up nice and tall, arms are nice and long. We take our large step back. Small bend in the knee, walking the feet a little bit closer together, maybe about hip distance. Long arms, and I want you to draw the shoulders down the back. We go into your deadlift, hinging at the hips, then sitting up nice and tall. Now, as I come into this deadlift, I'm looking to maintain the natural curve of my spine. Belly button should be in towards your spine. And I want you to imagine that someone's getting ready to throw an icy cold bucket of water right on top of you. Not fun, right? But what you'll notice is when that happens, everything across your midsection does contract, so you're bracing for that change or that shock. You wanna feel that same sensation as you come into these deadlifts. So try to contract that midsection. Let's go for just 2 more here. And we're gonna do that 1 more time. Well done. Okay, from here, we simply stagger the foot. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Now I want you to remember which foot is forward, because when we come into round 2, we're gonna switch our side. Let's go into split lunges in 3, 2, and 1. Maintaining a long arm here. You're simply dropping the back knee down towards the floor, then pushing through all sections of the front foot to stand up nice and tall. Notice I'm gonna keep my back heel lifted off the floor as I come into the split lunge. So I want you to think here is, when we came into your front squats, we were using both legs evenly, right? When we come into these split lunges, about 80% of the work should be in that front leg, and about 20% is gonna be in that back leg. We have time for 1 more here. Exhale, lift up nice and tall, and rest. Well done. Check out the legs. Awesome work. All right, so 1 down. We're gonna do the exact same thing 1 more time. The only thing that changes here is that we're gonna switch our lead leg. Let's go into the front squats first. Grabbing onto the handle. Bringing the handle so it comes underneath the chin. Close to the heart, feet about hip distance apart. Let's go. We come into the squat, sitting into the back pocket. Pushing through the foot to stand up nice and tall. Your target zone here should be center of your quadricep, also known as your thighs. And as you begin to stand nice and tall, you're gonna feel the contraction into your glutes. Let's go for 4 more. Last 3. Now you might be able to hear it in my own breathing. I'm making sure to keep the conscious effort to exhale as I stand up nice and tall. Arms are nice and long. I take my giant step back. Feet can become a little bit more narrow and right into your deadlift. Down we go, and up we go. So now we've shifted focus slightly from the front of the thighs into the back of the thighs, hamstrings, and of course we're still getting those glutes involved here as well. As you come into that bottom position of the hinge for the deadlift, you do want to feel a slight amount of pressure into your back pockets and a stretch that happens behind the legs. Now remember, the work should be into your hips. I want you to eliminate any of a pull in the arms. The arms are just there for balance. Last one. Well done. Okay, let's stagger the foot. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Drop your back knee right here. Here we go. We drop that back knee, pushing through the foot to stand up nice and tall. Once again, we're looking for about 80% of the work to be located in the front thigh, 20% to be located in the back leg. Notice how here I'm also changing how my body is positioned. My body stays upright as far as your upper body is concerned, but dropping the back knee as far as that lower body is concerned. We have 2 more here. Last one. And recover. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. That was awesome. Go ahead and release it there. All right, we have only 1 more block left. Last block, we're gonna switch gears slightly. So our first block, we were working on front of the thigh first, back of the thigh, and then we hit the entire thigh when we came into that split lunge. This time, our main focus is gonna be the inner thigh as well as the glutes. Here's your exercises. Exercise 1, we're gonna once again grab onto the handle. We're gonna take a giant step back, just like we did for the deadlifts. This time we bring our feet so they come outside shoulder distance with toes slightly turned out to a 45-degree angle. Keeping our body nice and upright, you're gonna bend the knees, sink into your back pockets, then sitting up nice and tall. So we're gonna think a lot of activation happens within the thighs. Your second exercise, you're going to straddle the rope, walk away from your anchor point, and we're gonna come into what's called your pull-throughs. So arms are still nice and long. We're gonna soften the knees, hinge up the hips, putting a lot of pressure into the glutes. Notice I'm gonna keep the natural curve of my spine. Then I'm gonna stand up nice and tall, all right? So those are our 2 exercises. Let's go ahead and get ready for exercise number 1. Sumo squats coming in hot. We take our large step back, feet nice and wide, toes slightly turned out, and let's do this. We sink down into the hips, we lift up nice and tall. Now the challenge here is, although the weight is trying to pull you at an angle down, can you keep your heart as upright and lifted as possible? So almost think like 2 opposite directions are happening here, right? There should be one that's trying to pull you forward, and the second force is trying to push straight down. That's what you're looking for. Give me 3 more. Last 2. And this will be the final one. Well done. Come back to that waiting position or the anchor point. Go ahead and thread the handle underneath. Take your giant step forward and let's hinge. Hinging at the hips, feeling the work into your back pockets. Keeping the natural curve of your spine. Now, as you begin to stand up tall, I want you to squeeze your glutes, almost like you're trying to take a piece of coal in between your cheeks, and you're squeezing it to make a big, beautiful diamond. We got very expensive taste here, guys, I'm just saying. Here we go, up. Really feeling the contraction across not just your glutes, but also into your core here as well. Let's make this one the last one and possibly the best one. Well done. Walk back, take a moment, shake it out. All right, let's do that 1 more time, shall we? Both exercises, as soon as both exercises are done, a real quick cool down, and we're gonna get you guys out of here. Grabbing onto the handle, we like our large step back, feet slightly turned out, heart stays lifted, and let's do this. We go straight down, pushing through the heel to lift up nice and tall. Squeeze at the very top. Now, if you notice here, I'm not gonna stand completely all the way up. I'm gonna try to keep tension on the inner thigh as well as the glutes here. So what I'm gonna do is keep a slightly bent knee as I come to the top end, but I'm going to squeeze my glutes as much as I possibly can. Down we go, squeezing at the very top, also feeling that inner thigh work. Last one right here. Well done. Walk it forward, straddle it out, grab onto the handle, take that large step away, feet a little closer together, and here we go. Reaching in between the thighs, standing up nice and tall, maintaining that natural curve of the spine. Down we go, pushing those hips back, lifting up nice and tall. Now don't be afraid to really roll those shoulders back, and I want you to give me what's called your power pose. So your power pose is at the very top, and I want you to imagine yourself as a beautiful superhero, puffing out your heart, being very proud of the work that you've been putting into it. Last one right here. Well done. Let's walk it back. So good, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's go ahead and stretch it out. You're simply gonna find one side of the stirrups from the arm, cross the ankle over the knee, sit straight down into your hips. Begin to roll out the ankle. Once again, we're trying to find mobility here. So you should feel that stretch into the back pocket here. Skip forward another 3, 2, and 1. Lift up nice and tall. Switch over to the other side, cross the ankle over the knees, rolling out the ankle. Once again, kind of opening up your hip bone pocket here, getting those glutes nice and open. We're rolling out that ankle and lift up nice and tall. Let's grab onto one ankle, bring it close towards your bottom, feeling the stretch in front of your thigh. Soften the standing leg, slightly hinging forward, feeling the stretch in front of the quad. We hang out here for another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Kick the foot out in front of you, shift your hips back behind, opening up the hamstring here, begin to point and flex the toe. So we're opening and closing the hamstring. Last 2, last 1, well done. Okay, other side, grabbing onto the ankle, bring it close towards your bottom, feeling that stretch deep in front of the thigh. Soften the standing leg, slightly hinge forward, feeling the stretch deep into the quadricep thigh. One big breath here. Kicking the foot out in front of you, shifting your hips straight back. Point and flex the toe, feeling the opening and closing of the hamstring. 2 more. Last one. And that is it. All right, check it out. Put your hands together. Absolutely phenomenal work. 15 minutes goes by so fast, but we got a lot in there, and we finished it so super strong. Once again, my name is Toby Masmergan. I am your coach. Thank you so much for joining me for today's workout. Of course, feel free to let us know what you thought about today's workout on social media. Feel free to tag us at any moment. We're on all platforms. No matter what it is, we can find you. All right, great job today, guys. We'll see you next time. Be very good to yourselves and, of course, to each other. We'll see you next workout.